Hey, okay, welcome to week 6. And the last week of Submarine Scorpius for now. I mean, we'll come back to it. We'll be doing the Waterhouse story, and of course we'll probably as we go, we'll probably be reviewing connecting dots even though not necessarily in the book, but in the guides, in the videos. I'll probably think of things that I want to reference from Scorpius and Scorpio, even in earth, air, and fire stories. So, I expect we will because of placements. But one thing I wanted to point out in this final week, because of, let me just pull it out here. Because the sun didn't hit, when did it hit? It hit around the 20th, yes? Aries, like in terms of hitting the midpoint between Taurus and Aries. Yeah, no, what am I saying? Pisces. Good grief. And so I looked into the Ainansa to find out, and I found the, let me write it down, hopefully you can read it here. What's his name? Larry Eli. Okay. Either that, or there's a Deluce. And apparently he did the longest, I'm not sure what, but 28 degrees. And so he has the sun accurately hitting Aries as of around the 19th, the 20th. The Deluce has it hitting Aries on the 19th. And so, I mean, obviously I'm going back to my chart in 1978, and I'm guessing that they were accurate. But I'm going to experiment with, this is the Fagan Bradley. I don't know. I think I'll hold it up. This is, if I can get the light behind it, this is the Fagan Bradley. But I'm going to go with the Larry Eli, and I'm going to redo my chart. It could go with the Deluce, but I've redone on Astrology. I've redone my chart with the Larry, and I'm even more Scorpio than I was before. Like, mostly it stays fairly similar. I use the same Regio Montanus, but and it makes sense to me. It gives me a full Aquarius moon rather than the split Pisces Aquarius moon, and I've been wondering how I feel strong Aquarius energy at times, and I can't find it in the chart. So I'm going to run with that as at least a parallel chart, but I think probably, and I want to monitor it through the year, because I know Aries is a short constellation, and maybe his is just relevant for right now for Aries, and maybe will fall behind, and then it will. But I do like the birth chart I do like this birth chart, this Larry Eli birth chart, how it suits me. So I wanted to point that out. We're just gonna, but I do love, that's what science is about. You just keep monitoring and tweaking, and that's one thing I'm gonna do for the next house for Cancer, for the houseboat. We just had this huge pink moon, and of course, pink moon, pink spider moon, it's Scorpio moon, yes? I mean, that's tropical placement. So now I'm wondering if it should be a Libra moon. But when I looked it up on Stellarium, no, Scorpius made sense. And of course we should be calling it a Scorpius moon. But anyway, I found interesting energy. Now, you shouldn't feel the effect, the full effect. Just like the waves, the tides aren't affected by the moon until the moon is opposite where it was. Like, it takes 12 hours for the waves to respond to the moon. So I didn't expect to be fully affected by the moon. Now, they say that a few days beforehand and a few days after, even sensitive types will feel the effects of a full moon, and this was a super moon, I believe. Certainly something extremely significant happened to me on this day that I did not expect to happen. that involved my core self and David Schroeder, and I didn't realize for a year I had avoided because of what happened between me and David Schroeder and Lucian Greaves last year, and I caused a gas station explosion so far as I'm concerned and David's concerned. Across from David's home, his sister's home as well, blew out her front porch windows because I confronted Lucian, whose real name is Doug Masico, and he's not real. Temple of Satan, Satanic Temple is what I'm trying to say. The Satanic Temple is not really that, and it's really a Freemasonic CIA pyramid. And I've been confronting, like, we've been dealing with, David's been suffering with them for years, Doug, and I've been in on that scene for the last 5-6 years. 2015 is when David and I met, so to speak. It turns out David actually published all of my confrontation, published my part of it on his website, and I hadn't looked for a year because it was too painful. And something caused me to go look. So here we come into the guides, this issue of who your guides are. And I'm going to take Friday this week. I have it off from cleaning. I have it off from everything. I mean, I'm sort of backlogged with birth chart work and stuff, but I'm going to take Friday just to really spend proper amount of time with closing out this house and the work in it. And I'm going to spend my time with this. Maybe I'll do a video of it while I'm doing it, like a diary. And I'm going to look at whose messages came through, because many messages came through for me from certain guides I didn't expect. Like George Carlin, I did not expect to hear from him, but I definitely heard from him. Seth Rich, I heard from 3 times. The panda thing figured out. I just saw another panda was right in front of me in one of my clients' homes on Monday that hasn't been there before, a huge stuffed one. And it takes me back to a bunch of panda pins that a relative gave me back when I was a kid, when we had pandas come to our zoo in Winnipeg. And it seemed random at the time. I'll see if I can find those and pull those out. But one thing that was really significant, David got into a new home, and I'm very happy about that. And he doesn't necessarily like me anymore. He might probably still doesn't. We used to be really close for a while. But I am extremely thrilled. Doug's threatening to sue him, so I'll be ready with all the evidence, the extra evidence that I have that David doesn't. So Doug's going to have to be ready to face me in court as well. But I connected. There's a story at the same time as things were going on with David. I was in another relationship, and by the end of that relationship, I had help from certain, I know Yeats in particular, Irish poet, writer, author. I mean, I knew from signs and signals that I had his help. I have help of many authors. And yes, we're still recording. And I knew at the time, we got him in, my ex got safely into a fabulous home out in County Mayo, which is just close by to Yeats, County Sligo. I have my reasons. I work with a bunch of authors, yes, that are passed over. Paul Gallico being, and D.H. Lawrence being 2 of the main ones. But let's say 30 to 40 authors, plus scientists, plus... And you could say, well, that's a nice delusion. It's like, no, it's been 20 years of it, and it's all going to be extremely documented. I've got cats destroying something. It turns out, so I know that he helped that house happen. I have a thing about, because I clean homes, I'm also attached to helping people get safely into new homes that they belong in. That's been a recurring theme for me. And I needed new energy. So I went out, actually what I'll do, because my guides had asked me to hand over a bunch of my decks, Tarot and Oracle, to my childhood best friend after a major drama, well, drama is not the right word, death experience. Okay. I was needing to refresh my own energy, but at the right time, when they said to refresh it, yes. And last Thursday, I went on a little spirit walk down to Shakti. Wonderful store. I gotta put the link to them. It's where I get my rose quartz. But they had a deck of this. They were open just long enough for me to get down there, so I knew it was meant to be. Get down there. The young woman helping me out, turns out she needs help with her birth chart work and figuring out who her guides are. And so it was all serendipitous, not a mistake. I opened this up, I'm reading the notes to it, and I didn't realize that Pamela Coleman Smith had worked extensively with Yeats on theater set design, okay? So then I find out, just days after that, is the Scorpius, is this full moon, when I find out, because something gets put in front of me through my partner, about Philip K. Dick, which puts me back down the rabbit hole concerning Lucian Greaves. And then I came, it was an unexpected rabbit hole day, okay? I was staying positive, I was staying happy about progress and everything like that, and been avoiding that situation. I ended up back down it, and then I find out that also David is safely moved into a new home. So we can I thank, David might not, but he is a shaman, and he is the one that actually got me started in all of this. And he is well, he doesn't believe in mind control, but he is an MK Ultra survivor. He's a Rockefeller. Part of the Franklin scandal survivors, yes, the victims. So, I know that this house moving thing and guides is significant. Okay, I'm not sure where I cut off, but and I could check. But I'm just rambling anyway a bit anyway, so I might have missed a few seconds. So if I recap, David's moved safely in. I know it has everything to do because of the timing with Yeats and Pamela Coleman Smith. And I was doing readings. I'm a Taurus aura, like my birthday's coming up in a few days. And so I feel like I have a very hard time with my birthday. And I think the Scorpio full moon has everything to do with that. And the fact I'm Scorpio rising. But my Chiron's not far from here either. We just went past my Chiron. So, so guides. I'm sort of pulling it all together. Definitely, just in the nick of time. There's a video of Kali as Hecate. And I think it's mythology and fiction explained. Let me hold that up to the light. Okay. Can you see that? Okay. Hopefully. Hecate, Mythology and Fiction Explained is the YouTube channel. And she is, some of the images in there confirmed for me. Now Kali, it was Kali, her as Kali, visited me in my home back in October 2019. But this popped up in recommended. It's a 3-year-old video. All of a sudden it's in my YouTube recommended, just within the past week. And just before I'm led back to David and to Doug, Lucian. And so she's the one that has always, she was letting me know, she scared the shit out of me when she showed up. And the vision she gave me, so scared me because I didn't know who she was and I thought she was a demon. And she appeared in sort of the darker female, there's some redheads. She wasn't redhead, she had dark haired. But, and she also presented me with the casing for the weapon that is reported to have been used to kill Michael Aquino of Presidio infamy, who was also David's main abuser. So, and he's reported to have been killed last year after my confrontation with, well, it's questionable, but anyway. So, drama, 8th house drama, definitely connected to murders, death, but moving, change, transformation. So I'm going to narrow all that down. Seth Rich, yes. And David had just done a tweet about Seth Rich a couple months ago. Sorry, David, if you're watching this. I rarely check up on you because I know you don't want me to. Or maybe half of you doesn't want me to. It's like a yes, no. And I totally understand. And you don't care if I understand. What am I saying? So, another thing I thought, I just review what 8 is. 8th house in terms of what 8 means in tarot. Yeah, and then really there's just what I'm going to finish up. I'm going to finish up. I still I've been resisting because there's so much always to keep processing, but I am this Friday going to go back and fill in the gaps from the readings, the predictions, right? Even the own set of cards that we did that has the Lovers in reverse. I still need to do the meditation video for that. I will do meditation videos for the other houses much earlier on in the game, within the first week. But I couldn't make sense. It took all months to make sense of the Lovers in reverse. I didn't have a clear sense of it. It's like they wanted me to experience it first. So I have a couple of spins on that. I'm going to rewatch these videos just in the background while I work on these things. Yes, I've got to do my new photo diary. And I think I'm mostly, there are a couple of planets I need to get. I'll do those as we come to them, right? If you have the same situation, you know, it's just, I'll play the songs of the 8th house. But 8, I went and grabbed cards that mean something from this, especially from, I love the colorings of the original decks. Yeah, we're still recording. Okay. So, High Priestess represents the moon, and because Scorpius is of the water signs and it has heavy moon energy, yes? Even if it's death, even if it's Mars, even if it's going to respond to moon cycles, because scorpions, they come out of the water. When they were water creatures, they would come out of the water by the moonlight to spawn, right? It's all that deep reflected light energy, the inner knowledge. So I pulled her out in terms of, we have a yin-yang situation, yes, happening here. I mean, we also have the two, you know, the two pillars of the Temple of Solomon, Boaz and Yakin. But I'm not into, I mean, that's just part of the culture of this, yes. This doesn't always say Torah because not everybody wants to associate necessarily. But she is in the, referencing the book of Revelations along with the Empress. But anyway, these pomegranates and behind. Mostly just the lunar energy that we'll often experience in Scorpio energy, that High Priestess energy. Also Cancer's Chariot. Here we have that balance again, the yin-yang balance. And I see the Chariot is moving through Cancer because it moves or it stalls and stuff like that. But because it's water energy and it's transformation, I see it going through Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So that's another card I would associate with this. The moon itself, of course, now in tarot it's associated with Pisces, in astrology it's associated with Cancer. But again, here you have your shell, you know, your protected creature feeling safe enough to come up, right, to surface. Yes, safe passage. And then we have the 2 towers of protection. We have the guardians. Okay, that. But the 8 also, we have the infinite sign representing 8 or mirroring 8. Yes, and in this deck, not, you know, in other decks, strength is the 11th card and justice is the 8th card. But here it is, the 8th card, and she has that infinity. And this is lunar energy and solar energy, yes? So that, again, balance between the yin-yang. Recurring themes. Also, then we have the 8 and the infinity over the magician. So not a direct, but I mean, transformative things in Scorpius are magician things, right? Particular kinds. So, along the theme of 8, what it means to be in the 8th house. Now, Now let me refresh my memory why I brought this out. 8 of Cups. Insofar as 8s are progress, insofar as 8s are proving yourself to yourself. This is in Cups energy, Scorpio energy, the 8 of Cups, which is technically Pisces. But it's being guided somewhere. It's in full communion with guides, right? And proving yourself to yourself with your guides. So that is a lot of the energy of the 8th house. So what gifts come with that? Well, safe passage, being led somewhere. You have, right, this death and birth experience, this Pluto experience. Powers, transmuting energy. Transmuting energy is a big one. Taking the negatives that aren't necessarily negative, right? And turning them into growth, turning decay into growth, really. And that just came through me. I wasn't thinking of saying those words, decay and growth, but that's what came right through. 13, and that's a 4, so that's half of 8. The Emperor Mars, yes, co-ruler. So there we have strength with King of Kings. And again, another 4, half of 8. And things that, you know, your loves and loyalties. Again, so that ability to take things that are out of love and put them into love. Right? Out of love, into love. The necessary change of letting go. Again, that transmuting of energy. The aloneness into the isolation, into the gift of sort of almost Messiah, Savior kind of energy, isn't it, really? It has to be for the right reasons. But then that's Scorpio. It's going to be hard to do it for the wrong ones. Just won't stick, won't be genuine, and, you know, that doesn't fly far with us. So these gifts, 6 are gifts, because that's what the water houses boil down to, is a 6. So gifts from guides, signs, endowments, so the means to do things, but messages, people, right? People, ancestors, but people in your life, new people in your life that they're sent to you by your guides and your ancestors and by God. Yeah. Spiritual renewal. These are particularly the Scorpio things, the Scorpio aspect of this water story, and of course the transformation into many things. So how much transforming have you been doing in this house during this time? Is there a correlation? Like, has studying this house been part of your Scorpio story, or have you been separate from it in other energy, looking at it objectively? What have you been experiencing while we've been in this house? It all boils down to, like, this is the 5, 6, and 7. That's fixed energy, but that's also, it's not cardinal, it's not page energy, right? It is somewhat established energy. So we put it as night energy. And motion, you know, come to pave the way. This is all spiritual, loving, communal energy, communion energy, yes? Bringing that in. You know, and if it's like this, not great. But that's the overall, these 3 cards sum up basically into this level of action, this level of being, okay? Armor, absolutely. Knowing this, we're beyond the page of cups, we're beyond messages, we are in action, defendable. We're able to communicate, articulate ourselves to the right people. and there's a schedule to keep. The knight will be expected to return, and if he doesn't return, then, you know, possibly a page is sent out to look for him, or somebody's sent out to look for him, because what the hell happened, right? Yeah. And so I leave that there. What else? But that's particularly, you know, so how does that boil down to guides and who's helping with night things, right? Like who guides the night? Who does these things? Who does these things? There, like so, right? Who helps with the change, right? Who helps with the necessary change of the 5? And the grief and the melancholy, who helps with that? And the disconnect, right? That there's spiritual divide over here. How do we reconnect or connect to someone new spiritually over here on all levels? Something of free will and soul contract. How do we come into awareness of that? Yes, step into it, accept it, shape it. And then how do we actually become what it means? Yes. So that we can move. And that's, so who's especially good at helping with that? In Emperor energy, death energy. Yeah, who helps us with, I'd hesitate to leave this down. No, it's an 8, and we're talking about 8s. We're talking about 8s. So that's the focus for this final. I don't think the thing is to solve all of the 8th house automatically. It's this, you know, atomic thing of, okay, let's map as many electrons and neutrons and protons as possible, and then move on to the next, because it's been a good 5 weeks inside this energy, and it's, you know, the others aren't going to get as much time as that, but it gets us started. Is there anything else? No, I think that's pretty much it. And so why am I packing it all up? I don't know why. I'll leave it there. That's what I'll do. And I think that's it. And I'm yeah, I think I'll see. I'll possibly do an extra, and I will do it for the others as well, for the other houses. So we've got the meditation video to come, and possibly I'll do some clips from while I'm working on finishing up. And then I'm not bringing it into the 4th house next week. Next week it's all new with the 4th house. I think that's why. Yeah, no carryover. Yeah, okay. So I'll be back one more time, but it'll be a short video, maybe 5-10 minutes. That's it. And then next week, the houseboat. The houseboat. Okay. Much love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And this is awesome. Okay. Bye.